My beloved child, pause for a moment, because the reason your soulmate suddenly wants to marry you so fast may be far deeper than you think. Something has shifted inside them, something they can no longer ignore, and heaven is revealing the reason little by little. They may have spent months questioning their feelings, delaying decisions, or pretending they had more time, but now their heart is speaking louder than their hesitation. Don't skip, because the next part of this message may explain why their urgency feels so unexpected. There is a reason they suddenly see you differently, and once you understand it, everything about their recent behavior may begin to make sense. There is something they realized about you when you were not even trying to prove anything. They noticed your patience. They noticed your loyalty. They noticed how you continued carrying yourself with grace even when you felt unseen. And that realization created a powerful change within them. Suddenly, the future they once imagined without you no longer feels complete. They are not simply thinking about romance anymore, they are thinking about permanence, commitment, and the possibility of building a life beside the person whose presence feels impossible to replace. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and the most surprising revelation is that their urgency may not be about pressure at all, it may be about finally recognizing the value of what they almost took for granted. And here is where the story becomes even more unexpected. Heaven may be using this season of waiting to bring two hearts into alignment at exactly the right moment. Your soulmate may be realizing that what they were searching for in countless places was already standing in front of them. The speed you are seeing now may actually be the result of a long internal journey you never witnessed. While you were wondering why nothing was happening, they may have been reaching a decision quietly, privately, and deeply. Something huge is waiting for you, but before the answer becomes clear, you need to understand one thing. Sometimes a person moves quickly toward commitment only after spending enough time realizing what they could lose by continuing to wait. And that realization may be happening in your soulmate's heart right now. My beloved child, what happened next was not something your soulmate expected to feel so strongly. A quiet realization began turning into a decision, and that decision has everything to do with the future they can suddenly see with you. They began replaying moments they once dismissed, the conversations they thought were ordinary, the kindness they almost overlooked, the way your presence brought a strange sense of peace into their heart. And then came the thought they could no longer push away: what if I am meant to choose this person now? Don't skip, because this is where the meaning behind their sudden urgency becomes clearer. Something huge is waiting for you, and the most important part has not even been revealed yet. There is also something they may have discovered about timing. They are beginning to understand that waiting forever does not create certainty. Sometimes certainty arrives when the heart finally becomes honest. Your soulmate may have reached that point. They may no longer want endless guessing, endless delays, or another season of wondering what could happen between you. They want something real, steady, and lasting. That is why their thoughts about marriage may feel unusually fast. It is not necessarily because they suddenly changed overnight, it may be because everything they experienced before this moment finally connected together. Stay till the end, because there is one final realization that could explain why their heart is moving toward you with such determination. And now, listen carefully. Your soulmate may be recognizing something that cannot be measured by time. They may have realized that the person who makes them feel understood is not always the loudest person in the room, but the one whose absence they notice the most. When they imagine their future, your face keeps appearing in the picture. When they imagine peace, they think of the feeling they associate with you. And when they think about making one life-changing choice, their heart keeps returning to the same name. This is why the message feels so urgent. Sometimes heaven does not reveal the entire path at once, it reveals the next step when the heart is finally ready to take it. And your soulmate may be standing at that exact moment right now. My beloved child, there is a moment coming when your soulmate may stop wondering whether you are the right person and start wondering why they waited so long to choose you. Something inside them is becoming impossible to ignore. They are beginning to understand that what they felt with you was not simply a passing emotion, it carried a depth they could not easily replace. And the more they tried to imagine another future, the more clearly your presence appeared in the one they truly wanted. Don't skip, because this is where the hidden reason behind their sudden desire for marriage begins to unfold. They are not only thinking about the ceremony, the promises, or the future plans. They are thinking about waking up beside the same soul they can trust when life becomes complicated, celebrating victories together, and having someone whose presence feels like home. But there is another realization that may have changed everything. Your soulmate may have finally understood that love is not always found in perfect circumstances. Sometimes it is recognized through imperfect moments, misunderstandings, distance, and periods when two people have no idea what the other is thinking. They may have looked back at everything that happened between you and realized that despite the uncertainty, their heart kept returning to you. That pattern became impossible for them to dismiss. They may have asked themselves, why does this person still matter so much to me? And the answer became clearer than they expected. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and the next revelation connects directly to why they may suddenly feel that delaying the future with you would be a mistake. Here is the part you were never supposed to understand too early. Your soulmate may be realizing that they do not need another 100 signs before making one meaningful decision. They have already seen enough of your character, your heart, and the way you handle life. Something about you has convinced them that a future with you deserves to be chosen, protected, and built intentionally. Their urgency may therefore come from clarity, not confusion. While you were wondering whether they were moving closer or farther away, they may have been reaching a private conclusion that changed their entire perspective. And when that conclusion settles deeply into someone's heart, the question is no longer, should I choose this person? It becomes, why would I keep waiting when my heart already knows where it belongs? My beloved child, something has changed in the way your soulmate looks at the future, and this time, it is not just about emotion, it is about realization. They may have suddenly understood that certain connections do not become meaningful because everything happens quickly, they become meaningful because, even after time passes, the feeling refuses to disappear. That realization may have hit them at an unexpected moment, perhaps during an ordinary day when nothing seemed special. Suddenly, they remembered you, remembered what you shared, and felt a certainty they could no longer explain away. Don't skip, because the reason behind their sudden thoughts of marriage is becoming even clearer, and something huge is waiting for you further ahead. They may also be realizing that you were never asking them to become perfect. What touched them was the possibility of being accepted while still growing, learning, and figuring life out. That kind of connection can make someone reconsider everything they once believed about commitment. Your soulmate may have imagined that they needed more time, more proof, or more answers. But now they may be discovering that waiting for absolute certainty can sometimes mean overlooking the certainty already sitting quietly inside the heart. Stay till the end, because there is a deeper reason their thoughts are moving so quickly toward a shared future, and it may explain why their behavior has felt different lately. The more they reflect, the more they recognize that you bring something into their life that cannot easily be replaced. And now comes the revelation that changes the entire meaning of this message. Your soulmate may not be rushing toward marriage because they suddenly became impatient. They may be moving toward it because they finally understand what they want. There is a difference between chasing a moment and choosing a future. Their heart may be moving from fantasy into intention, from wondering into deciding, from imagining you into actually picturing a life with you. They may be thinking about the little things that nobody else notices, sharing quiet mornings, supporting each other's dreams, laughing over ordinary moments, and having someone beside them through every season of life. That is why this feels so powerful. The person who once needed time to understand their feelings may now be realizing that the greatest thing they can do with that understanding is finally stop hesitating and choose the future their heart has been quietly pointing toward all along. My beloved child, there is one thought your soulmate may be carrying quietly that could explain why everything suddenly feels different. I do not want to lose more time. Not because they are being pressured, but because they have finally understood the value of the time they already spent apart, uncertain, or simply waiting for the right moment. Something about you has remained with them through every distraction, every change, and every attempt to focus elsewhere. And now that memory is becoming a decision. Don't skip, because this is where the story moves from emotion into something much deeper. They may be realizing that a future is not created by waiting for a perfect moment, it is created when two people finally become willing to choose each other with intention. There may have been a private moment when your soulmate compared everything they once wanted with what they actually feel when they think about you. That comparison revealed something surprising. The qualities they thought were difficult to find were already present in you: understanding, patience, loyalty, warmth, and the ability to make ordinary moments feel meaningful. They may have realized that they were looking for a feeling they had already experienced with you. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and the most important realization may be the one they have not yet spoken aloud. Their heart may be preparing for a conversation that changes the way you both understand this connection. And here is what makes this message so powerful. Your soulmate may not simply want to marry you because they are deeply attracted to the idea of love. They may want to marry you because they are beginning to see you as their partner in real life, the person they can build with, grow with, laugh with, and return to after a difficult day. That is a completely different level of certainty. The dream is becoming a plan. The feeling is becoming intention. The hope is becoming something they can finally imagine making real. And if their heart has reached that point, their sudden urgency may actually be the visible result of a decision that has been forming quietly for much longer than you ever realized. My beloved child, the moment your soulmate finally understood what you meant to them may have been much quieter than you imagine. There may not have been a dramatic announcement or a perfect scene. It could have happened in the middle of an ordinary moment, when they suddenly realized that whenever they pictured happiness, stability, and a future they could genuinely believe in, you kept appearing in that picture. That realization can change everything. They may have stopped asking whether they should move closer to you and started asking how they could make the future they imagine actually possible. Don't skip, because the next layer of this message reveals why their heart may be moving with such unusual certainty. Something else may have become clear to them: they do not want a relationship that exists only in beautiful moments. They want the person who remains when life becomes ordinary. They want someone with whom silence feels comfortable, conversations feel honest, and small victories feel worth celebrating. And when they think about that kind of partnership, they may recognize qualities in you that they once overlooked. Your soulmate may now understand that the strongest connection is not always the one that creates the most excitement. It can be the one that creates peace. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and the reason behind their desire to move quickly may be connected to this exact realization. Now listen carefully, because this is where the title of this message becomes deeply meaningful. Your soulmate may be feeling that life has already shown them enough to make a serious choice. They may have learned that time does not automatically make a connection stronger. Sometimes it simply reveals whether the heart keeps choosing the same person. And their heart may have kept choosing you. That is why marriage may suddenly appear in their thoughts with such intensity. They are not necessarily trying to rush the story. They may simply be ready to stop treating something meaningful as if it were temporary. The future they once viewed as a distant possibility may now feel close enough to reach, and somewhere deep inside, they may already be preparing themselves to take that next step with you. My beloved child, there is a final piece of this revelation that you need to hear, because the reason your soulmate wants to move so quickly may not be what you first imagined. They may have reached a point where their heart is no longer satisfied with simply feeling something for you. They want to give that feeling a direction. They want clarity. They want a future they can actually build. And perhaps for the first time, they are realizing that the person they kept thinking about was not a temporary chapter at all. You may have become the person they naturally include when they imagine tomorrow. Don't skip, because something huge is waiting for you, and this final realization connects everything you have heard so far. Your soulmate may also be recognizing the value of choosing someone who knows the real version of them. Not an idealized version. Not a carefully presented version. The real person, with dreams, imperfections, doubts, growth, and everything in between. They may have realized that being understood without having to explain every little thing is rare. That is why their thoughts about commitment can feel so sudden from the outside, even though the decision may have been forming quietly within them for a long time. Stay till the end, because the deepest part of this message is not simply that they want marriage, it is that they may finally understand why the idea of building a life with you feels more peaceful than continuing to search for something they already recognize. And now, my beloved child, remember this: when someone finally sees the value of a connection, their entire perspective can change. What once seemed like waiting can suddenly feel like preparation. What once felt uncertain can become clear. What once seemed impossible can become something they are willing to pursue with intention. Your soulmate may be reaching that point now, not because everything has magically become perfect, but because their heart has finally become honest about what it wants. The message is not merely about a wedding or a single decision. It is about recognition, the moment someone looks at the person they love and realizes, this is the future I have been searching for. And if that realization has truly settled inside your soulmate, then the reason they want to move so fast may be beautifully simple. They finally know what their heart has been trying to tell them all along.